often say this, I know, but the world is fascinated by our British monarchy. And when you think about it, some of the biggest films of all time have been based on, of course, the royal history, Elizabeth I, and possibly most recently, the brilliant Colin Firth in The King's Speech. Now, The King's Speech was unique in many respects because obviously it was based on a true story with a little bit of poetic license, but the real names and events were recorded and were taken from a very much esteemed book to work from. Now there's going to be a brand new production coming, hopefully, into London's West End, prior of course to a United Kingdom tour. But I'm predicting that this could run into a few problems. Let me explain. Good to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time today. Nice to have your company. It's true though, isn't it? I love watching The King's Speech time and time again. I like looking at all the bits of the history and the way that they replicated streets and stuff like that and thinking, wow, is that where they went? Is that how they lived? Just nosy, isn't it, But that's what we really enjoy. Now, what's fascinating about this brand new play, it is going to be very precarious, I believe, because it's written by a very esteemed authoress called Daisy Goodwin. She's had a lot of success on stage and with her own book. But this is the very first time that she's attempted something for the stage. Now, instantly, I bet like me, you're thinking the Queen and Angela Kelly. Well, this is the story that basically is everything but. Now, the reason why they say the Queen and her dresser is simply because at this stage, and I say at this stage, you never know, the former dresser and good close confidant to our late and brilliant Queen Elizabeth II is not involved in the play. Now, one might suspect that they either reached out and that was a firm no, or indeed it was written without any consent from her. Now, the idea of the play, which looks great, and it stars celebrated actresses Caroline Quentin and Anne Reid. Now, Anne Reid, for many a generation, of course, is now known for all thanks to Last Tango in Halifax. But of course, who remembers her as Valerie Barlow? Yes, getting electrocuted in Coronation Street all those years ago. A superb actress, great fun, and a wonderful raconteur. Now, this particular play, as I say, sort of focuses on the relationship between the Queen and her dresser and how things had formed and moved and all that sort of stuff. Now, it could get tricky, you see, because clearly, if there are incidents in there that perhaps people start to assume is Angela Kelly, legalities could fall in, as ever, I have to say, allegedly. This is because people will assume, a little bit like the play Backstairs Billy that was recently on in the West End, people assume those situations actually happened. Now, in the case of Backstairs Billy, of course, he's no longer with us, as is not, of course, our wonderful late Queen. But Miss Kelly is very much alive, thriving and living up in the north of England. Moving forward, as I say, I predict success for this. But the bottom line really is they're going to have to be very careful how not just they put it over, but more importantly, how the audience perceive it to be. If they think these situations clearly happened, that could be problematic. And perhaps at the start of each performance, they'll have to put out a full disclaimer. Either way, once again, it looks like our late and brilliant monarch, Queen Elizabeth, will be shining bright once more in London's West End. The tour starts from June, up and down the country, and fingers crossed will eventually transfer, they believe, either in the latter part of this year or the early part of next year. Good luck to all. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.